Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. A little bit of the Dam Busters to get us chaps in the mood today for a World War II British RAF aviation themed piece by Aviate. Now 2018 is the 100th year anniversary of the formation of the Royal Air Force, and to commemorate, celebrate and capitalise, Aviate are releasing a series of 4 watches based on different eras of RAF history. They've started with the 1920s and the one that I've got here on my wrist, the 1940s, and a little later this year they're releasing the 1960s and the 1980s. So are they any good? Let's flip the camera, get into the box and find out. Okay then, some very impressive packaging. Apparently most of these Aviates are very well packaged. This is the first one that I've encountered as mentioned. So, Aviate Centenary, this one is in 1940s. I'll pop up on screen what's available for pre-order at the moment. This is the 1920s design. I'm going to open the box of the 1940s design in just a second. Later on this year they're going to release pieces based on 1960s inspiration, and then finally my favourite decade, the 1980s. All taking their styling cues from RAF planes and instrumentation of the period, all kind of styled various decades. So a nice inner to match the nice outer, little kind of picnic hamper almost on this one. I hear all these Aviate watches come very nicely packaged, little centenary there on top. And there it is, the 1940s. I must say, the kind of classic Type B Flieger, I think the 1940s design very much my pick of the 4 of them. Quite like the 80s one as well, but the 40s one looks pretty good to me. Now, how much are these going to sting you? Well, the current list price of them is £250, that's 340 US dollars. But if you give them your email address at this point in time, they'll send you a discount code when these watches are available to order on, I think it's about the 8th of March. There's a 15% discount code actually comes in the box. I hear 20% off Aviate is not difficult to find. If they can do a little bit more, I think they can get this watch down to about 250 US. It's a pretty compelling package. I think it's a good looking, handsome watch. Nice set of specs, great leather strap. Let's get a closer look. So 42mm in diameter, we've got a 22mm lug width, tapering down to 20mm at a very nice deep etched Aviate buckle there. Very much enjoying that one. This one's just about 14mm thick, just under 14mm thick. Again, we've got a nice signed crown there with the RAF kind of bullseye logo, and it's a pumpkin crown, so definitely in keeping with the period. We've got a 316L stainless steel. Now, the vast majority of this case is brushed. There's a tiny little bit of polishing. They've just put a little chamfer on the lug edge there. That's the only polishing on here. Everything else is brushed. And we've got a lug to lug length of 48mm, so 42mm in diameter, but it actually wears very well because of that relatively compact lug length. Now we've got a sapphire crystal covering the dial there. A little bit of dome, you got a nice bit of distortion there actually as you view it from an angle. I do like a bit of dome on the sapphire. Now sapphire on the front doesn't specify whether it's sapphire or not on the back. Only 50 meters water resistance with this one, and just a push-pull crown on that nice pumpkin crown. A stainless steel screw down case back, just advertising 1940 stainless steel, and the water resistance of 50 meters. So the movement beating away there, that big jewel signifying it's a Miyota 8000 series. This one is an 8218, so we've got a little bit of guillotine, a little bit of decorating, we've got a small second hand, and we've got a custom Aviate Flyboy rotor there as well, again featuring the nice little RAF bullseye and a bit of skeletonization. I'm not a massive fan of these 8000 series Miyotas. I do find the base model 8215 to be a little bit noisy, a little bit rough, but they do get better with a little bit of extra effort. I think these decorated ones are pretty decent movements. They do hand wind, but they don't hack, and as you can see, I'll pop up the timing screen there. Can't complain at that accuracy. That's measured over a fortnight and plus 1.5, so again, a little bit rough around the edges. These 6 ticks per second, 21,600 vibrations per hour, 21 joule. But when it's cut accuracy like that, you can't really complain. You also can't complain about that loom. Loom is fantastic. No loom on the small seconds, but you've got plenty of loom everywhere else. And it's super luminova, so not only is it bright, but it lasts a decent amount of time. Definitely one of this watch strengths, that loom. And another strength, in my opinion, is the dial. As I mentioned, really kind of classic Flieger B-type dial, but instead of putting the hours on the inner track, we've got this small second down there at the 430. We've got a kind of rough matte finish. I think you should be able to pick it up. Not sure if there's any AR coating on that sapphire crystal, by the way, but we've got a kind of rough matte finish on the dial. Nice bit of texture there. And those baton indices, the hours, and the numerals there, the 5, the 10, the 55 and so on, are applied. Not obvious at first glance. You need to get down and have a look. Maybe look at this watch from the angles. You can see there's a little bit more going on in the dial than first appears. But they've kept it pretty clean, just centenary there, heading towards the 9 o'clock. And that Miyota 8218 giving the little sub-second dial. You don't even notice that it's got 6 ticks rather than 8 ticks per second. Good choice, I think, by AV8 using that little sub-second. Adds a little bit of character to the dial. And the leather strap is a cracker. Lovely bit of graining, really nice texture to it. It's quite thick, padding at the top, high quality stitching throughout. Nice comfortable backing, genuine leather there obviously. AV8 logo embossed on the other side, again nicely stitched retainers, so definitely a win. And as I mentioned, really enjoying that little deep etched AV8 logo on the buckle also. And there it is on my 7-inch wrist. 42, probably my upper maximum for watches that I enjoy wearing. This one though, 48mm lug length, wears really nicely, and the strap's a cracker. Obviously needs a little bit more breaking in, but a very comfortable, very classy looking strap on this one. Gotta say, for the price, if they can keep this one down and around the 250, 275 mark, I think they've got a bit of a deal on their hands here. Good looking timepiece. Love the fact that the date wheel is also in black there. Again, very nice little detail in keeping with the overall vintage aesthetic nicely. Niggles then? Well, not too many really. The 8000 series Miyota unidirectional rotor winding, you do get a bit of Miyota wobble on the wrist, and it is slightly noisier, though this one I have to say much quieter than the 8215s that seem to be the mainstay of cheaper watches. Again, I think, as mentioned, if they can keep the price tag reasonable, I'll be very interested to see what the final price on this one is. Not too many rivals really offering a kind of classic vintage style Flieger design for less than $300. Very comfortable leather strap, I think a thoroughly decent effort overall. Looking forward to seeing more AV8 pieces through the channel in the future. So there you have it. Quite enjoyed my first encounter with AV8, pretty decent watch overall. I'm sorry I can't be any more categorical about the price of this one. No harm in signing up that email address, getting the code in a couple of weeks' time. If the price is good, I think they're onto a winner with this one. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.